In this video, let's talk about on-site leadership. So on-site leadership, I am a big believer in leadership at the level of the job site. The crew leader, we empower that crew leader. The reason we want to empower that crew leader is because they are the person that is in the job every single day, directing the daily efforts, and the customer is right there with them. And so when we remove ourselves from the job site, when we are away, that's when things can get a little hairy. And unless you have somebody who is in command on that job site every single day, you are putting yourself at risk. And so in order to have a crew leader who can be responsible enough to direct the affairs, we got to coach them up and we got to find the right people to do the job. That means giving them the right tools, giving them the education, and also finding the person who has those qualities that you need inherently. So let's talk about the on-site leadership. The first thing that the on-site leader is going to have to be responsible for is planning. They got to be able to plan that job out. So that means understanding the details of the work order, being able to turn that work order into a map of what they're going to do, how they're going to produce it, how many points and how much time is in each area according to each person. They got to be smart, okay? But here's the deal. Anything that you learn in business, it is like a muscle. It can be exercised and it can be improved upon. And so that's all we have to find is somebody who is willing to put in the work and learn. So getting them to plan, sure, some people have a little more talent at natural talent at planning than others, but we want to give them resources that they can use to become effective planners. One of the resources that we're going to give them is an actual planner, a physical planner that can help them to record the things that are happening during the day, a little journal, a little log of what needs to get done, how long it took, who did it get passed off. What I like about the planners that we provide is that we put in the beginning instructional material to help them understand the job. And so we've done a pretty good job of putting these little QR codes printed right here in the planning book that link out to YouTube videos so that they can watch how to do their job, right? You've heard of employee handbooks, you've heard of employee manuals. Well, most employee manuals, they just sit on a shelf and don't do anything. Nobody reads them, nobody knows anything about them. You know, you've heard of SOPs, standard operating procedures. They sit on a shelf, they collect dust. Well, when you put them physically in the planner that they use every single day, and you use these QR codes to link out to videos that teach people how you want things to be done, your employee manual is right here at the ready all the time. And so giving them this tool is going to help them to be better planners and better leaders. The second thing is communication. You need to find a leader who's going to be great at communicating. Now, communication can be taught. Okay, you can teach active listening. You can teach proactive communication. You can teach them, when and how to talk. But there are certain things that are important for that on-site leader that maybe they have to come with. Right? We can't afford to necessarily teach everybody how to do everything in our business. Sometimes they have to come equipped with the skills and attributes that you need. And so communication, not only communication with the crew, but also communication with the customer. If you're going to empower the crew leader to get the job done, they have to be able to speak the language effectively and they have to be able to communicate what's happening on the job site at all times. Otherwise, your customer is going to be really anxious about what's happening. Then they have to be really good at accountability or holding other people accountable. Leaders who can't hold others accountable don't get the job done. And too often, companies don't have good people who can hold people accountable, and so they use money to try and incentivize performance. Well, the studies are in, they've been in for a long time. Money does not incentivize. In fact, it incentivizes only the wrong things. They say put your money where your mouth is, and that's the signal and message that you send. When you say I'm going to pay extra for this, that's what people are going to try to give you. And so if you try to incentivize people moving faster, they're going to move faster at the expense of the other stuff that matters, like quality and customer service. And so you have to be very careful with money incentives because they can very easily throw you down the wrong path. When often the answer is just having a leader who knows how to set goals and hold people to those goals. So, what kind of leader are we looking for? Well, this is where I turn to the 6 domains of leadership. And these are qualities and attributes of a leader that we need to both look for and exude in ourselves, starting with personal leadership. Personal leadership is that element of who we are, what we bring to the table, our characteristics, our character, what we value. And the thing is if a person does not have a credible character, they're not going to find people to follow them. People follow people that they like and that they ultimately trust. And so the second domain here is relational. Relational leaders get followed by the people that they lead. In fact, you cannot go to the other levels of leadership before you pass through these first two. You have to be a person of good measure. You have to be a credible person. You also have to build relationships with people. And so when you're thinking about promoting people, be careful to not promote people who don't have relationships built in. They have to do the work of building relationships. And if you do bring somebody in who is maybe new, or vice versa, you have a leader and you bring somebody in that is new for them to lead, they are back at square one. They have to start with building a relationship first so that they can get them to perform and so that they can lead them. Next, you have contextual leadership. Contextual leadership it has to do with how that person fits into the community at large, the context of their role. What is their role? Is it clearly defined? Do they know what their responsibilities are? And do the people who follow them know what their responsibilities are? Because if all of a sudden you promote a crew leader and they start telling everybody what to do, and everybody else is like, hold on, I don't answer to you, I answer to the boss, then you're going to have a problem, right? You're not going to have the leadership and outcomes that you need. And so we have to make sure that this core base here is hit right away. Is this person credible? Are they a good human being? Do they make good decisions, right? Are they a good example to follow? Have they built relationships with the people on their team? Or are they at least striving to build relationships with the people on their team? And does everybody know the context of their role? If you have this, this is a great starting place, and you can move to these other sections. Inspirational leaders, you have to find somebody who can rally the troops, somebody who can say, come on, guys, I know that it's hard, but I know that we can achieve this. If we all work together, if we put our minds together, if we work hard, we can bust through this. You have to have somebody who's going to rally the team. Supportive, you have to have a leader who is supportive of others. If you have somebody who is critical, who is not helpful, who just commands people to do different things and doesn't give them the tools or the resources or the instruction that they need to achieve, that leader is going to fail. And so conversely, a supportive leader is one that finds the problem and says, you know what, instead of coming down on this person, we're going to coach them up, we're going to teach them how to do it, and we're going to make them better. Supportive leaders are great leaders. And finally, responsible leaders. You have to find a leader who understands that their stewardship is important, that they care about it, that they hold themselves accountable to it, and that they understand the quality of the work needs to be high, and that the uh, outcome of the profitability of the job, that needs to be in place. If they don't understand that these jobs need to be profitable, and they don't understand that these jobs need to be of high quality, they cannot be an on-site leader.